Moonletter, astrological podcast.
Pholus, Cults, Intoxication, and the Divine, by Ben Belinsky. In Greek mythology, Pholus was a centaur, half man, half horse, one of a tribe of centaurs who inhabited the mountains and forests of northern Greece. In general, they were a pretty wild bunch who couldn't hold their liquor, well known for their battles and debauchery. They have been commemorated by many artists for their role in the drunken brawl that occurred at the wedding of the king of the Lapiths. But there were a couple of centaurs who were rather more civilized and urbane, Chiron being one, and Pholus the other. Pholus was a good friend of the legendary hero Hercules, and one day, when Hercules was passing by on the way to one of his labours, he popped into Pholus' cave to visit his friend. Pholus offered him something to eat. Hercules, being a man of enormous appetite, asked if there was anything to drink. There was a flask of wine that had been gifted to the centaurs by the god Dionysus, and Pholus was its guardian. When the flask was opened, the pungent fumes of the wine wafted out of Pholus' cave, and soon all the centaurs, intoxicated by the smell and angry that their sacred gift had been consumed, rushed to Pholus' cave, causing a stampede. Hercules reacted by firing off a volley of arrows, but these were poisoned arrows. The poison was from the blood of the Hydra, the beast that Hercules had killed in his first labour. Pholus was fascinated that such a small thing as an arrow could kill such a large creature as a centaur. He picked one up to examine it. It slipped through his fingers and stuck in his foot, where the poison rapidly killed him. In astronomy, centaurs are a class of solar system bodies whose orbits are wildly elliptical and also tilted so that they cross the plane of the other planets. Pholus crosses the orbits of Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, taking about 92 years in its journey round the Sun. The first centaur to be discovered and named was Chiron in 1977, while Pholus gave his name to the second centaur to be discovered in 1992. Some astronomers believe that the centaurs were originally rogue planets that broke away from another system and crossed interstellar space until they were captured by the gravity of our Sun. Others believe that their origin is in the Kuiper Belt, a zone of our solar system out beyond Neptune, populated by comets and minor planets. Pholus' astrological influence is very much to do with herd instinct, something that is beyond our rational mind to understand and control. It can manifest as the ecstasy that sweeps us at a pop concert, or the fear of a panicking crowd. It's the power of the demagogue, the rabble-rouser, or the cult leader. It is the key to mass appeal which enables an artist to tune into the mass mind so that a book, a film, or a piece of music goes viral. It is the spirit of the wine that was the gift of the god Dionysus, the god who can take us out of our everyday lives, beyond rational thought, and connect us with the ecstasy of divine inspiration. In the book, Pholus, Cults, Intoxication, and the Divine, we explore the mythological composition of the flask of wine to get a better understanding of what was released when the flask was opened. We look at how the myth of Pholus is acted out or lived in individuals, and how it relates to their involvement in cults or in abusive relationships. We also look at the impact that Pholus can have when it's strongly configured in the chart of a nation. Pholus is prominent in the charts of leaders or instigators of cults, for example Jim Jones, who led the cult that ended in the massed suicide in Jonestown, Guyana, David Koresh, who led the cult involved in the Waco siege, Donald J. Trump, 45th and 47th President of the United States. The birth data of these individuals is publicly available, but I would also expect to see Pholus in the charts of those who get suckered into cults, but whose names invariably disappear into anonymity. Pholus is also significant in the charts of cult busters, people such as Erin Pitsey, who upset many feminists with her research into violent women, Russian author Dostoevsky, who explored mass psychosis in his book The Possessed, and Robert Anton Wilson, author of the Illuminatus trilogy, which promulgated the conspiracy theory to end all conspiracy theories. Also in a positive turn, Pholus is strong in the charts of artists and musicians who have attracted a mass cult-like following, such as John Lennon of the Beatles, poet Sylvia Plath, Richard Wagner, composer of the Ring Cycle, and Edith Piaf, French chanteuse. The influence of Pholus can also be seen in the charts of countries and nations that are susceptible to cults and the rise of authoritarian leaders. It would surprise no one to know that the USA is one of these, along with Germany's Third Reich and to a lesser extent Morocco, Thailand, and Japan. While in its positive manifestation, Pholus influence appears as religious ecstasy and poetic inspiration that can move an entire nation, this energy can too often become negative, leading to the growth of destructive cults. However, it can also have the effect of busting the connection to cults and deprogramming individuals from their control. The e-book, Pholus, Cults, Intoxication and the Divine, digs deep into myth and explores how the astrological influence of the solar system body named after Pholus shows up in the charts of individuals who have led or who are involved with mass movements, cults, and abusive relationships. It looks at case studies of cult leaders, cult busters, abusers, and survivors of abuse to build a multifaceted picture of this important influence.
And for more astrological and spiritual musings, check out moonletter.co.uk.